My name is Tristan Tierce. I'm a senior here at Arizona State University. I study business entrepreneurship and art studies. I've been working on Allergy Voyage for 3 years now. And the goal behind that company is to host the menus of restaurants to make users with food allergies feel more safe and confident while they're dining.
So what about your business would set it apart from others in the industry right now?
I think what sets us apart is our competitive advantage of having firsthand relationships with restaurants. So a lot of other like alternatives to Allergy Voyage right now are really just kind of data scraping or having very surface level information regarding restaurants. There's not a lot of security in the user that has food allergies to actually know that the restaurant is going to be safe to eat at. You kind of just have to trust it. I can think of a few examples off the top of my head that are honestly just user driven as a term of like Yelp. So Yelp for people with food allergies is not what we're trying to be. We're trying to have a very specific relationship with restaurants that makes users with food allergies feel more safe. The inspiration came from my own frustration and experience. I feel like here at WP Carey, I've learned so much that that's kind of what entrepreneurship is feeling different pain points and having to build something based off of that. It was definitely true to like my experience. I have life-threatening food allergies myself, and the idea initially arose when I was trying to go out of the country for the first time. And that was just something I didn't know how to do. I was really scared to do it because of my food allergies. I didn't know what I was going to be walking into, if I was going to have like safe dining when I was dining abroad. And so that's where the idea came from. And I've, since had to scale it back to local, but that was the initial inspiration.
And so every business owner has a why. So what was your reason for choosing the unconventional route of being an entrepreneur?
To be honest, I get bored really easily. I really like the excitement of having the freedom to do what I want to do with my business. It's really fun, especially now because I have two team members that I work with, even across the country. One of them lives in Pennsylvania. So to kind of like manage two people and to build something that we don't know ultimately if it's going to be successful, but obviously we hope it will be. I'm very motivated and confident that it will be. It's really exciting, and so despite whatever obstacles or pain points arise, to be able to treat those as they come and learn from them has been super fun, and I really didn't expect it to be as fun as it has been.
Yeah. And so what would you say your favorite thing is about being an entrepreneur?
Besides the excitement, I'd say that it's been like being able to develop myself professionally in this context because I was really like anxious about getting a corporate job or seeing like where I would fit in that. Like I never saw myself in a cubicle. And I know that corporate life has developed a lot more beyond that now in some instances, but there was just like kind of a fear for me in that regard. And so this, not just with my own personal experiences or my own like external motivation, all of it worked together to kind of create this like longing to do something like this. And I'd say that like being able to bundle all that up has definitely been my favorite part. It's just like the cyclical nature of everything that I feel like this work has been.
Now that you've been working on your business a couple years, what qualities do you think every entrepreneur should possess?
I think that confidence is a big thing, but with confidence, I think you should have a lack of ego. Like being an entrepreneur, you hit so many roadblocks and you have so many people question you that ego is something that all of us have and obviously, can be damaged or grow. And I really think that having that ego and scaling it back is really important because you really have to learn from everyone else around you. Because especially with me, like I know that I have food allergies, obviously, and this solution is something that helps me. But other people have different experiences from me. So with those different opinions comes different pain points and allows us to grow and expand our business even more. So if I'm stubborn and rock steady in every single thing I do when it comes to business, I personally just feel like that isn't the way to do it. I really like listening to my team and listening to other people I work with or learn from, and that has been very beneficial. I think that empathy is also a skill that you really, really need to have for being an entrepreneur.
So now I kind of want to talk about what your business model looked like when you first started and then versus what it looks like now.
Yeah, for sure. So it's called Allergy Voyage now. It was originally called Worldwide Waffles. Like I said, I wanted to be able to dine internationally, and that was my pain point. And so that's where the business started. Was I was super ambitious about wanting to get in contact with international restaurants and study at international universities and learn more about that culture and try and like bridge some sort of gap. But the undertaking that required was just far too much, especially in my setting right now, being at ASU and still being like only 21, I didn't have the resources to do that. So to scale back, to rebrand, become Allergy Voyage, and focus on local relationships has been probably the biggest change that we've undergone. With revenue model specifically, for the most part, we have stuck to charging restaurants as our first, priority. We charge them to have their menus hosted because we've been able to prove to increase the revenue and, outreach for restaurants. But in the future, we would also like to charge consumers in the sense if we provide other added concierge services outside of just menu filtering and things like that. We want to streamline the process as smoothly as possible.
What advice would you give to someone starting off their business?
The advice, honestly, is kind of synonymous with what I tell the people when they're like going into pitching competitions for their businesses, and starting is very similar too. I was really nervous going into a competition once, and I called one of my friends back home in Texas, and I was expressing that like I'm still going to go up there and do it because I know at the end of the day I have to do it. Like it's something I just need to do. And so to kind of like push me past that barrier, he told me to just do it scared, and that's very very simple advice, but it's really easy to repeat in my head and to latch onto. And so to just like do it scared is something that I tell a lot of people because if you know you're going to do it, or at least have to get yourself to do it, just do it scared because at the end of the day, you want to look back and say that you were able to do it. And it's super simple advice, but it really helps me a lot.
If you can go back and do one thing differently in your business journey, what would you do?
I honestly don't think that I would do anything differently. I don't really like to think about my life in that way because there's not a lot of things that I regret. And if it's in the past, I can't really do much with it now besides just learn from it and do something better in the future. And so I wouldn't change anything that I've done. Obviously, like I could be a little bit further along if I went back and knew the things I know now, but that's just not something that can happen. And so with that in mind, I try and like keep that thought as I like make decisions going forward, knowing that I'll probably look back in the past and maybe want to change them, but there's really nothing that I would change. I think that the person I am now and the business that I have now is all a result of who I was in the past, and I want to continue to maintain that going forward.
And then my last thing is,
Yeah.
if anyone watching this video wants to follow along on your entrepreneurial journey, do you have an Instagram for your business
Yeah.
and a website anywhere that they can find out more information?
We have a website, allergyvoyage.com. We're still very local to Tempe, Arizona, but we're trying to expand, especially across the Southwest, where I'm originally from in Texas. And I do see this becoming a national, if not international, business at some point. But it's a big undertaking to get there. So it's a slow process, but we're growing slowly but surely. So check out allergyvoyage.com or Allergy Voyage on social medias.